Sure,
I
sure.
repost it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just knock out the episode. And,
We are live. Big live,
yes,
big
sir.
live, big live,
hmm
big live, big live, big live.
Big live.
A late night edition
Yeah, yeah.
of Talk That Talk podcast. I go by the name of Bake, and I got my co-host, my editor, co-producer, coach. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Father of the year. Oh, I went off
Oh,
already. God,
yeah,
I was recording
they
already. Father of the year. Man, introduce yourself, man. That don't
Hey
need
man,
many
it's your boy
introductions.
Mr. Two Degrees himself, Young Dad Gang. Shout out to that
Yep,
company, man. I
yep,
gotta give me some more hats.
yeah.
I need me some more hats, man.
Definitely got you some.
Because I appreciate somebody really thinking of the fathers, and Dad Gang is a real thing when
I
you're a
like
real
it.
father.
I
When you're
like
a
it.
real father, I love this company and what they represent and what they mean. And just to come out with hats like this, man, I'm very appreciative. Really appreciate the wife because she bought me two hats.
Yeah, that's what's wrong. That's I said that's what's wrong.
That's
That's
what's
what's up
wrong.
when you got a good wife, man. Ain't nothing like a
Yeah,
happy wife, happy life. You know what I'm saying? Get the brother some hats, okay?
yeah,
One
man.
of them days, man. Right now, the market is dry, but we'll talk about that another day.
Right, Martin. Right.
Anyway, man, we had a lot.
We'll be
I
on the
know we've been
fire.
MIA, but we had a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah,
We got
man.
a new freaking NBA champion yet again.
The seventh in 7 years, Bake.
7-7. That's almost sound like biblical right there. That's like iconic right there. 7-7.
Seven or back in the day in LA, the 7 to 7 at the skating rink.
Yeah, I was
hmm
trying to get biblical right there.
Oh, I
You
didn't.
know, the number seven is a big deal. You know,
It
seven
is. It is a big
threes,
deal.
all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But
But don't you need three sevens?
hey, man, hey, 2027 coming around the corner. But it'd be nine.
It'd be nine there. It
Yeah,
would
it'd be
be. It
nine.
would work out.
But it was seven. And what day was the
but it
championship on? What was that? What month was it? It was a 6 month. What day
was
though?
60,
20,
but
22nd? Yeah.
20.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's not gonna work out. Yep.
Yep. I was about to say 20, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was
The
trying to
27th. Yep.
yeah,
No.
trying to make it work. Yep.
7th month. Nope. Didn't work. Didn't work.
I
Did not
tried
work.
to. I tried.
You tried.
I
You
did
tried to
try.
figure out a way. You
But we
tried to
got
figure out a
another
way.
champion, man, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the parity of the league in just a bit. But I want to talk about
Yeah.
first your thoughts of OKC winning in the fashion that they won,
Yeah.
and after that, I want you to also answer. Now that we have a new champion, the first man in the last 20 something years to have the season MVP, scoring
Yep.
title,
Yep.
and Finals MVP. Do you
hmm
think SGA, aka Shea Gilly Alexander, is the
Yeah.
face of the league?
Shea Butter. Um. Well, to start with the beginning of it, the Thunder deserved it.
Mm.
Um. When you were the best team from wire to wire, the expectation is for you to win,
Mm-hmm.
and they lived up to expectation. They went and got the job done.
Yeah.
This is a very people have tried to really hate on this team and like let's rank the last few champions and don't want to give them their respect.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's piss poor journalism,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just piss poor, just not being appreciative of the moment. I think they're very unique in how they won. I think how can this be a team that is not looked at one of the best teams ever when they were the youngest team ever to go win it?
Yeah.
It took all these other teams that have won it were veteran led, had some young pieces,
Right.
but the oldest dude on their team was like 28.
I think it was Alex Caruso.
Yeah, 20, I think, and Caruso 29, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah.
But the leaders of the team are 25 and under.
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel me? Because Shea turned 26 coming up.
Yeah.
So it's like for this to be the youngest team ever to win it, for this to be the team with defensive statistics heading into the playoffs they was number one in almost every defensive metric you can think of. For them to win the way they did, it's like you just got to show that team a lot of respect.
Yeah.
You got to give you got to think about the coach that was in the G League for the Thunder
Yeah.
have led them to a championship
Yeah.
because people was looking at Mark Diadnall as like not that kind of a good coach. When a Thunder hired him, they're like, "Who's this?"
Right.
And look what he's done with them boys in this 3-year time span because
Yeah.
they've gotten better
Every year.
every year, Bake. So I just got so much respect for the Thunder. Um, if my heart goes out to Indiana,
Oh yeah. Hey, shout out to Indiana, bro. Shout out to Indiana. Played one of the most greatest, I would say, greatest series in regards to a team that never quit. Usually, when you got a dominant team that's been number one the whole season, they usually figure out a way to put them away. But they took them to the wire and
7.
and took them to 7. And I said that I think if they would have won that game four that they let get away, they was winning the whole game, and they allowed it to slip away. And credit to SGA, credit to them boys at OKC. But we could be talking about a whole different narrative right now. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Pacers is just, I mean, this series is exactly how the Denver series went.
Yeah.
The exact same way.
Yeah.
You feel me? And it's just like I said, man, big shout out to the Pacers, man.
Facts.
This was a team nobody expected to get to the finals. Like it at no point during the season, I was like,
Pacers gonna go to the NBA Finals.
yeah, and like whoever bet on the Pacers to go to the finals, you was a real Pacer fan.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So, and for them to show up the way that they did, and big shout out to Hallie. It's so unfortunate my man popped his Achilles.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate he went down like that, but he made the post today after surgery just about like if he had the opportunity to do it again, he would. Because there's no guarantee I had that moment and this opportunity again.
Right.
And as a player and as a person that has played, I definitely understand the mindset.
Yeah.
Like like sports is about risking it all.
Right.
Like think about it. Think about how people killed Cam Newton for not diving on that fumble.
Oh yeah, they ridiculed him. He still would never live side of day for that.
You feel me? Because it's just like you for a moment you thought about yourself and not the team. And it's the Super Bowl. And so for Hallie to play game 6, to say, all right, knowing all the risks, go play game 7, it's like, man, you just had hats off to them. And them boys played all the way up to the third quarter.
Yeah.
And then it just became too much.
Yeah, it became a lot. And I think for first of all, I want to give OKC a lot of credit for their stifling defense. Like they just have this mode, and I think that, and I think also it's what the ref allows too, because the ref allows them to get a little bit extra physical. And what I think about is I think about playing 2K when you got people that spamming steals, right? And they spamming steals in the lane, and they just create chaos. And it makes you uncomfortable. You're throwing the ball hella fast. You're frustrated. You're mad. You about to damn near cuss the goddamn game out because they are really trying to get that goddamn basketball. And I see that kind of defense with OKC, stifling, physical, and just pesky. Like, man, leave me alone. God damn, man. One of the plays, even in Game 7, the dude was grabbing my guy.
He was holding TJ wrist.
Holding his wrist, and the ref was like...
And he's in front of, like sometimes, stuff be in areas you can't see, but like he was in front of the ref, like, I got him.
Yeah.
And then ripped him.
And the ref said, hey, what you want me to do about it? Hey, what you want me to do?
Hey,
but
stop being a punk.
To play tough. The way they played, and they had, like, SGA didn't have his greatest game, but he was SGA. This is what SGA does. He's a consistent 25 to 30 points a game guy. He doesn't, the athleticism is not as crazy, but he has basketball fundamentals. He has some of the greatest footwork you've seen ever, and he's just so crafty. He's a student of the game, and you can see that when he's out there. Like, you can't do what he won't allow you to do, right? And we talked about it yesterday. I feel like Indiana made a mistake because and I talk about this a lot of times, and I try to make the game simple. You got to take away something. You can't let them have both, because if you let SGA get it going, and let's say you letting your team, the others shoot threes and they don't got it going, but then they get it going, then you in trouble, because then all that's going to do is open it up for SGA to go crazy. And then if you say, you know what, we're going to stop the others and we're going to man SGA, but then when he get it going, you start saying, nah, we just got to double him. You gotta die with something. Something's got to go. And I even like to say, even with the Maverick series, they said, no, we ain't letting LeBron get up in this. Oh, where did he go? We ain't letting LeBron. What happened to my dog? My dog went MIA as he come back. we ain't letting LeBron get into this paint. We not letting him get into this paint. I don't care what we do. We're going to box this up. We're going to make him a jump shooter the whole finals. And it made him uncomfortable. And Brian had his worst finals ever, right? And I say that because teams got to take away something and live with something else. That's just the way it works. And I feel like Indy, they did what they could. It was working because OKC wasn't hitting their shots, right? I think it could have got out of hand, both either or way, right? Because you had games where Indy was doing their thing and OKC wasn't hitting their shots. But I felt like OKC had a more defensive presence, and they knew they could turn it on when they need to turn it on. And Indy was in spurts. It was like, okay, they trying to lock up, right? It was like they playing defense, but you wasn't expecting to be on that OKC level or whatever. I think it was a bit of both, right? Playing a little bit more defense and OKC just missing wide open shots, right? But to see this team be the number one team yet again, because it was the number one team last year, and they ended up losing to the Dallas Mavericks in the semis, to get back here and go all the way, and they had a tough road. The only road I think it was easy was the first round. The first round was easy.
First round they got them boys up out of there.
The second round they played against what was that? They played against the Nuggets. Didn't they play the Nuggets? They played the Nuggets. And then they played the Wolves, right? Yeah, they did. They played the Nuggets, and then they played the Wolves. The Wolves was a shocker for me. I didn't think they was going to get them boys out of them 5. I didn't think they was going to get them out of them 5. I think I was shocked by that. But 2 tough series out of the 4, and you got them as the champion. And I got to say this. For SGA to be 26, to do what he's been doing, and all he's been doing is getting better and better and better and better and better every single year. And this team is so young. The nucleus is young, and they're going to be here for a little bit. I think, and I'm going to say this on paper right now, I think they're the candidate to repeat, because who's going to beat them?
Yeah. I mean, they're the candidate to repeat. I mean, they don't have nothing on paper they're about to lose. Caruso signed a 2-year deal. Hartenstein has a 3-year deal. Right. SGA about to be here. J-Dub about to be there.
Yeah.
Chet still on a rookie deal.
By the way. Yeah. And Lou Dort. Look. The side, he's not silent, but the key ingredient for this Thunder team is Lou Dort.
And you know what? That's one of those situations where it's like, when you be watching somebody who can't shoot.
Yeah.
And then their career just go down the line and they still can't shoot.
Vanderbilt.
You be like, what are you doing?
Bruh.
Like in the off season, like what are you doing? You feel me?
Imagine if Vanderbilt was shooting like Lou Dort.
Well, I think with Vanderbilt, I just feel like the injuries have played any kind of real thing. But with having foot injuries, you should just be sitting around shooting. You can't run, you can't do nothing else. But that's neither here or there.
Yeah, that's no.
I feel like, because I can speak from experience. When I tore my ACL and I came back to Fresno State, I couldn't do nothing.
Right.
Couldn't run, couldn't do nothing. But I could sit there and shoot.
Right.
And what got a lot better was my jump shot, because it's all I could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shoot the rock.
Yeah.
You feel me? So, but Lou Dort is a person that you can just tell just went put himself in the gym. The crazy thing is he got that same high arc.
Oh yeah.
Now it's just going in.
It's just going in.
It's just going in.
It looks the same, but you can tell he's been putting in the work. So I gotta say this: we did it with Giannis. We did it with Tatum. We did it with Jokic. We did it with everybody who's won the chip in the past 7 years. I think it's only fair that SGA right now is the guy.
Why would he be?
He's an MVP. He's the scoring title champ, and he's the Finals MVP. And he
the Western Conference Finals MVP. You got to give him that too.
Yeah,
that's an award now.
4 in a row. Sweet. He swept that thing. You get what I'm saying?
You feel me? So the thing is what we about to start doing is like SGA is only missing 2 MVP awards from his resume.
Yeah.
He's missing the in-season tournament and All-Star game.
Yeah.
The only two MVPs he's missing from his resume right now. And he'll have something nobody got. Nobody. And so he's the face of the league. He's the best player in the league. When you lead your team as the main guy to a chip, as in Giannis, Jokic, LeBron,
Yeah.
Steph,
Yeah.
Tatum.
Yeah.
Well, the Tatum thing is a little 50-50 because Jalen Brown in the winning finals MVP.
Yeah.
So that one's a little 50-50. But everyone else, like you said, was basically the best player in the league. Even
Yeah.
when Bron won in 2020, people was like, LeBron's still the best in the league
Yeah.
until somebody really moves him off that mantle.
Right.
And then everybody else start winning after that. So, yeah, man. And I feel like the face of the league situation differs because it's trying to, like, when you become the face of the league, it encompasses everything.
Yeah.
Like everything,
Yeah.
like your style, the flash,
Yeah.
the numbers, like your persona, like
Yeah.
the face of the league encompasses everything. And
Right.
I think although he's the best player in the league, I wouldn't put him the face because his brand doesn't give me face of the league brand. It just gives me I'm here to hoop, I'm here to do my job, and that's what I'm going to do. Kind of like KD. Like KD never gave me like
Mm.
face of the league because that's not his brand. And I like and like I said, and it's not, and to me, and I don't want nobody to think that this is shade. This is more or less like the way SGA presents himself and the way he does things is like it don't matter to him if he the face of the league. Like he good just being SGA.
No, 100%. 100%. It's he remind me a little bit of Kawhi. Remember when Kawhi won the ring and it was deeming him, he's the guy, he's the face,
Yeah,
he was the dude, he was going to dethrone, and he ain't won one since. You know what I mean? But I think face of the league is tough because his personality.
exactly.
He's to himself. He's just
Very, very introverted.
yeah. He's a team guy on camera. Look
On camera,
on
yes,
camera.
yeah. On
You know what I'm
camera, he's
saying?
very
On
introverted. Yeah,
camera. We don't know what SGA like when the cameras.
yeah,
We don't know my dog out there wild and talent, but you know he seemed like a good guy with stand up guy with morals, and he loves his wife. He talks about his wife. He cried in front of his boys with his wife. So I
yeah.
don't. He just
Family
seemed
man, he a father. You
yeah.
feel me?
So I
Like
think
it
I
hit
think
different.
he's very mature for his age.
Very
And I
mature.
think if you're gonna be the face, you gotta be. I don't even think you gotta be like a. You just gotta be an ambassador. And I think he's a good ambassador of the game, though. I really think that he's a good ambassador, and I know even with Giannis was to himself, and then he showed a little bit more of his personality as he started to
Yeah.
get interviewed. And I think
Hmm.
now you're gonna see a little bit more of SGA winning the finals, winning MVP, interviews. He's gonna be in the spotlight and things like that. So it'd be interesting to see what he does moving forward. But hey, man, the kid is only getting better, and he's only gonna keep getting better. And that type of game that he has, he can play for a long time because it's not super explosive. It's all footwork. It's all craftiness. It's all being a student of the game, and it's good to see. It was a great finals. You said it that it was the most watched finals in history.
Yeah, well, not the finals in itself. Game 7.
Game 7. That's what I
Yeah.
mean.
So the crazy thing is the interesting dynamic of game 1 being the least watched,
Yeah.
game 7 being the most watched,
Right.
which is just people start to finally buy into the fact that these are two good basketball teams, and it shouldn't matter about the market size. It shouldn't matter about the teams. It shouldn't matter about the star power. It should matter about the hoops
Mm.
and it being a good brand of basketball. And I knew when the series started that we were in for a treat for a good brand of basketball
Yeah.
just based on how both teams are.
Right.
You feel me? And it became exactly what real pure hoop enthusiasts got.
Yeah.
Good basketball
It was
for
good.
7 games.
It was good basketball. It was back and forth. It reminded me, like I said, of the Spurs and Detroit Pistons. Even though people didn't watch it,
Just
more
more or less
defensively.
defensive
This one
or
was
less.
more.
Yeah.
This was more a little bit best of both. You had some defense, had some
Yeah.
offense, you had some blowouts, you had some close games. Gave you a little bit of everything. And then the game 7 was so big because everybody thought, let's keep it stacked. We thought it was over in game 6, especially we didn't think Halliburton, who tore his ACL. To
What?
be honest with you,
Towards ACL.
I mean Achilles. My bad.
Man,
I'm
they
thinking
gave him a
it's
whole
late.
different. That boy got him in a whole new injury. Yeah, that boy that tore his ACL. His ACL. That's crazy.
I mean
Oh, he tore his
Achilles, dog.
Achilles.
It's late, dog. Hey, it's been a long day. But the crazy part about it is, after him playing that whole game, you thought he was gonna be all right.
He came out of game 7, guns blazing.
You get what I'm saying? He came out with the rocks on fire. You get what I'm saying?
Whew.
Shooting threes and talking his talk. So I would have loved to see. Look, I'm not gonna tarnish OKC championship, but I would have loved to see a healthy Halliburton the way he came out game 7. He came ready for the moment. I don't know if they still win, but what happened without Halliburton is that they didn't have their leader no more. They didn't
Yeah.
have their floor general, and you saw it. They 27 points off turnovers. That's the game.
But it was that, but I don't know, babe, because they was high turnovers with him. They
No,
was turning the ball over hella
but he
much.
wasn't turning the ball over right now. He I'm telling you, the way he was playing, he was locked in, and to have 27 points. Me and Jordan was watching the game. I said, man, you minus the 27 points. We got a 9-point game, 9-point lead to Indiana. They're up by 9 right now without these turnovers. 27 points is wild. And I think to see him to go out and play and say he wouldn't change it. First of all, I want to say I appreciate what he did. I do. I feel for him. It's the heart of a champion. You just want to go out on your shield. You know what I'm saying? That's everybody want to go out on a shield. It just sucks when you're going out on a shield, and that happens. But hey, glory to God that he was allowed to at least play Game 6 and play the whole Game 6 and have moments in Game 6. And you thought that he was going to be able to play the whole game, Game 7, and it just didn't work out. Putting too much pressure on it, it was crazy. Just 40-something more minutes, man, and he would have got through. You know what I mean? But he tried to.
But the thing is, it makes it very interesting because now the East is like very wide open.
Oh, it's very
Tatum
wide.
out for the year, basically.
Yeah.
Hallie out for the year. Dame out for the year. You feel
yeah,
me?
that's 3 Achilles heel in one
Yeah.
season.
In one playoff. They ain't the season.
Oh, yeah,
This
one
all
playoff.
happened in one.
But
Yeah, one.
So let's talk about that because that's crazy.
Yeah, and they all wore number 0 too.
That's wild. That's wild. But my thing is this, because we're seeing a lot, bro. I had this theory, and this
Oh,
is just
wow.
a theory. This is just a theory.
Bake's theory.
This is my theory.
You ain't got one of them. You ain't got that little chiming music.
No, I ain't got
like,
time music right now.
like
I ain't
little
got time
X-File
music.
music.
I ain't got. Look. I had this theory, and my theory was back in the day, you didn't get no Achilles tears. You didn't really hear about no maybe ACLs but no
only
Achilles.
to further your point, the only major Achilles tear we heard about was Dominique Wilkins, and that was like late 80s, early 90s, or
early
however
90s, right?
Yeah.
So here's my thing. Now, two theories I got, right?
Yeah.
Either in the 90s, them boys was slow and they didn't have no explosiveness like that, so they didn't get hurt that much, right? Or them boys really wasn't playing as hard as we think they was playing, dog. Because I gotta know, like, how the hell you ain't got not one Achilles? Because I'm telling you, you talk about dudes who smoked, drinked. I'm talking about all kind of stuff playing basketball.
Hey, listen,
like
that's about doing hard drugs.
Right? And you had no really major injuries like that, bro.
They was doing hard drugs. They couldn't feel nothing.
But still, if you tear your Achilles, you tear your Achilles. So my thing is, like, we get on this whole thing about past tense and present tense.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say that, which is we should all know, it's more explosive? The guys that play now are more explosive, more athletic, and because
I'm gonna tell you why.
What?
So
Why?
you finish.
What?
Those men in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, whatever the case is, however you want to put it, those dudes really put their body through the wars of attrition through a season. Like, it was rough in the 80s because you flying commercial, you really playing 82 games, you playing them back-to-backs, 4 games in 5 nights.
But no injuries,
so like,
though, Reese.
I know, but wait, hear me. But it's like your body gets so susceptible to a lot of that stuff. So then you move into the next part of the explosiveness of everything that's going on. A lot of people are attributed to in the 90s and the 2000s, what kind of shoes were people wearing?
Nikes.
No, I'm talking about what top though, like
Oh, high tops.
a lot of high top. You got to think about it. Converse had high tops. All the Jordans for the most part until like mid 90s start becoming mid, but the Jordans was high tops. Uh a lot of people were wearing a lot of high tops.
Mm.
So you get that extra ankle support and all that kind of stuff. Because you got to think about it. A lot of the Achilles injuries come from calf injuries.
Yeah. You didn't even get
Gilbert
that many
Arenas
like that.
and Gilbert Arenas mentioned that before Dame tore his Achilles, his calf was bothering him.
Yeah.
Before Tatum tore his Achilles, his calf was bothering him. Before Hallie tore his Achilles, his calf. KD, his calf. You feel me? So a lot of that is about the calf, but it goes to your point of how explosive a lot of these players are now and what they're doing. But are you really training for explosion or are you just being explosive?
Right. Look, man, I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. When you watch the back in the day game, and I ain't saying they was moving, they wasn't fast, but the way they played was slower. It did look slow.
I know, but do you know this year was the highest paced games since like the 80s or something like that?
Since the 80s?
Yeah, because the 80s was playing at this same kind of pace too.
Man, I
See,
can't
people
tell when I'm
don't
watching on
really,
TV, bro.
yeah, because I mean, it wasn't every team, but a
Yeah.
lot of teams, like the Lakers.
Well, the high teams, the Boston Celtics, the Lakers.
It was a lot of teams that was playing, like the Dallas Mavericks of the 80s with Mark Aguirre before he ended up getting traded to the Pistons.
It just looked
Like
different when you watch a full game, Cuddy. I ain't
it
gonna hold
do,
you. It be
but
looking like they be moving slower.
but they pace of play was out because the thing is they're moving slower because remember that kind of game was inside out.
Right.
It wasn't no real spacing.
Right.
So everybody kind of running to the damn paint versus now everybody running to the 3-point line.
Right.
So when you looking at it, it's just like damn man, get out the way because it's so many people in a confined area and they was playing in like a small little box.
Yeah.
Now the game is so spaced out because you got shooting, you got a lot of one-on-one players. You didn't have that many just like off the dribble guys to go get a bucket. You know, everybody played through a system, but the pace of play was still very high octane.
So could it be where back in the day you wasn't having a lot of like ball dominant offense? It was more like ball movement offense.
Exactly. Yes.
And so it allowed you to preserve your legs and protect yourself from getting injured. That's what you're saying?
I think that could be a lot of it. Just think about it. One thing that you dislike about the game is when somebody just dribbles the ball out, just grab the ball
and dribble. For
they just get
years.
it. It's ISO. Then they go from ISO to pick and roll, and then it goes from pick and roll. Then you kick it to somebody. You're like, "Well, shoot it." Like, man, I ain't shot the ball in 7 possessions.
Right.
You want me to shot.
Yeah.
You feel me? But I think that's a good point. I think in the 80s and 90s, early 2000s. It was so much team orientated, even though those teams had stars.
Right.
But the ball movement allowed for you to not have to go explode and go get a bucket.
So it preserved your body a lot more.
I just
wanted to know because I'm like,
no, and nobody. And honestly, Bake, I haven't heard nobody really talk about that. Like JJ Redick had mentioned a year ago, or mentioned like how much the pace of play is in the NBA and what you got to do. But that's because everybody has fallen in love trying to be the same thing.
Yeah.
You feel me? One of the beauties, I think about it, one of the beauties of the Warriors, what made them so good was Steph Curry wasn't ball dominant.
Yeah, he didn't need to be.
And that's why when KD came over, that's what really made it unfair because it's like, well, he don't even use dribbles to go score.
Yeah. And if they need to use dribbles, then you got KD can be a versatile. That was two of the most. I ain't gonna knock them and make it seem like they didn't have to work, but bro, those championships were easy. Like it's like even with, and I always say this, even with the LeBron and Curry, Kyrie and Kevin Love, they had a chance. Don't get me wrong, you always got a chance when you got your superstar, but their styles are different than the Warrior styles. That Warrior team just flowed. It worked. It was like, and then KD, he's KD. You put KD on a team of two of the
And
best shooters in the world, and then you
yeah,
got
he's
great
gonna make
role
it tough for you.
players.
Gonna make it tough for you.
He gonna make it
Gonna
tough
make it
for
tough
you.
for you.
Like, I don't
Yeah,
care. I don't care who you is. KD
But
is
that's
hard
but I
to be guarded.
also feel like if KD doesn't go to the Warriors don't win them championship either.
100%. Because you see what happened. LeBron James and them, and I know they always say because of the Draymond, I get it. It's part of it, but it's happened. It's just like
Play
an
the
injury,
piece.
right?
Play the
But
piece.
when he got suspended, that was the only reason they still had to win Game 7 in Golden State.
Well,
Like,
they had to win. You got to think about it. They had to win 3 games.
yeah,
It wasn't just they had to go win Game 5,
right?
Game 6, and Game 7.
Yeah, they was down 3-1.
Yeah.
So you can't blame everything on that one.
Yeah.
And they won in Golden State.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, like, you can say Draymond whatever. Draymond wasn't in Cleveland, but he was in Golden State. Like,
Because here's the thing. When the Warriors end up having to go play a championship without KD, they lost to the Toronto Raptors.
yeah.
The proof is in the pudding.
But then I ain't gonna forget like they.
Well, you got to think about it. Clay ended up getting hurt. Clay got hurt. Clay got hurt.
Yeah.
But I don't think but KD was already hurt too.
Yeah.
So that I don't think even if Clay stays healthy, they're not beating the Raptors without KD.
Yeah, they wasn't beating them. They
wasn't beating them.
They wasn't beating them. Like, for real, they wasn't beating them. And like
I mean, and Steph ended up getting another one eventually. But I'm saying in that stretch, I don't give a damn how good the Warriors was. If you don't insert KD into that,
they probably don't win. They probably win 3. They win 3.
They win 2. He'll have 2.
He'll have
that one that he won pre-KD, and then the one that they went and won and earned.
And that's the crazy thing, though. The crazy thing is, this is the thing, and we move on to another topic. This is the thing that gets me with the LeBron thing. Like, when LeBron go to the teams, they say, well, X, Y, and Z, he went to these teams, he had these players or whatnot. But what about Curry? Curry recruited the dude that he just beat.
Only reason why it's different, because Curry only did that one time.
What you mean?
He only did it once.
Bron didn't go to a Laker team that was crazy. Bron went to a Laker team that was rebuilding.
Yeah, but see, here's the narrative is Bron left Cleveland, went to Miami to join a 45-win Miami team with D Wade that brought in Chris Bosh.
Right. I'm listening.
Then he leaves Miami. He surveys where he can go. Right. He like, oh, Kai in Cleveland still? Let me go get Kai. They draft Wiggins. He like, Wiggins ain't it. Let me go get K-Love or whatever the case is. So then he wins in Cleveland. He leaves Cleveland.
Right.
He goes to LA. He sees LA as a young team.
Yeah.
Right. So if you think about it, right, he gets LA. That's a very young team that he could have just molded and turned him into just.
We ain't got time to mold. We got to win.
We ain't got time. All right, go give it to all y'all. I'm gonna go get AD. He gets AD.
No, but I think Ingram and them stayed. Ingram stayed.
No. Ingram got traded. Lonzo got traded.
They played the season with him. And
they played one season. Yeah, they had one season.
It wasn't like he came and said, y'all niggas got to go. He played the season with him.
But he got hurt. But see, the thing is they were okay, and he got hurt.
Yeah, he did.
He got hurt. So you got to think about it. He got hurt. Then Ingram got hurt, and then Lonzo got hurt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was like, and then you got to, but think about it. You got an opportunity to get Anthony Davis at that time, who was one of the most dominant power forwards in the game.
I mean, you go get him, but by going to go get him, unfortunately,
it cost you a lot.
It's going to cost you a lot, and it's going to cost you the narrative of you just can't win with some of the pieces that you got. You got to go get all the major pieces to make sure.
Well, hold on now, because every team does that to a degree. They get pieces, like they get pieces. Now, whether the pieces is big names or whatnot, they get complementary pieces that works with their team. Like, even when D Wade got Shaq, now Shaq was at the intel. But having Shaq on that floor helped them out, or whatever the case may be. when Steph Curry got KD. That opened it up tremendous. What did he just do?
Yeah.
He just got Jimmy Butler. They just got Jimmy Butler, who
Yeah.
was a one
But
guy as well too. So
yeah, but
everybody does it.
no, I mean
Kawhi
everybody
Leonard.
again.
Who did he get?
Everybody,
Paul
Paul
George.
George, and then you see how that didn't work out.
It didn't. It
Didn't
don't
work
always.
out. Didn't work out.
Who did the Brooklyn Nets get? Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and James Harden.
Oh, and they should have won.
You know what I'm saying?
They should have won, but you factor in COVID and James Harden hamstring injury is the reason, and Kyrie got hurt too.
Yeah.
Their thing ended up being injuries. It wasn't
I'm
for
not
a
saying
lack
that,
of.
but I'm just saying like people
Yeah.
go get people. Like Kobe was trying to get CP. That's just called a spade, and they blocked that thing. They said, "Oh hell no, you ain't playing with Chris
But that
ball."
was after he already didn't won 2 chips.
But,
He was
but
trying
who
to
did he go get before that? Paul Gasol. Paul Gasol, one of top 100 big men.
No. Kobe won a chip without a top 75 guy. Put some respect on my guy.
Wait, Paul Gasol ain't top 100?
He ain't not top. Nah,
Not 100?
They don't do 100. It's top 75. They didn't.
I bet he in 100 though.
I mean, anybody can be in 100. The top 75 is what the last list was. There was top 50 then top 75.
So where's Paul Gasol in big men's though? When you rate Paul Gasol, because Paul Gasol was one of them.
As a power forward,
he played power forward.
Okay, as a power forward, if I had to do a list, Paul Gasol is probably outside my top 10.
That's crazy because he was a big asset for y'all.
Hey, he was, but I'm just
him and Bynum, and I know Bynum was already there, but him
Bynum. Listen.
But hold on, Lamar Odom did he not get Lamar Odom back? Because Lamar Odom left. No,
Lamar Odom was already there.
No, he left and came back.
No, he did not leave and come back.
He did. He was a Clipper, and then
he was a. So this is how this went. He was a Clipper,
and then what?
He went to the Heat,
and then what?
And then he got traded to the Lakers.
Who brought him over there?
The trade for Shaq.
Who brought him over there? Who did Kobe get out of there?
Kobe didn't get nobody. We got to start with the narratives.
Hey. So you don't think Kobe got Shaq out of there?
No, Kobe didn't get Shaq out of there. Shaq left because he wanted to get paid, and Jerry Buss said, "We're not paying you. We'd rather pay Kobe."
Okay, so Kobe was responsible because Kobe could have said, "Hey, man, I want Shaq to stay."
No, because Shaq was on BS, and Kobe told Shaq that to his face.
All right, but who? I guarantee you, he knew responsibility to get Lamar Odom over there. He didn't just say, "We gonna get
Kobe."
Whatever.
Listen, here's what I do know: if Kobe would have had his pick, I don't think that trade would have happened like that. Because you got to think about it. They made that trade. That next year, the Lakers sucked. And then in the midst of that next year, Kobe was thinking about getting traded because he felt like the organization was not trying to go win championships.
Okay. So
that's why I know Kobe didn't have a full hand in who came in that Shaq trade because he felt that they wasn't trying to win championships.
So now you said a pivotal point that I want to touch on. When your organization, Cleveland, wasn't trying to go get
no, that's a lie. That's a lie.
Who was they trying to get?
They went and got. So remember earlier, here's what you said.
Who they went to go get?
Hold on, come out. Here's what you said earlier. Earlier you said you can't always go. It's not about getting the big pieces. Every team goes and gets a piece.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Who did they go get?
Cleveland went and got Antoine Jameson, who at the time was averaging 18 and 9, who was producing over there.
And where did we go? We went to the finals.
Huh?
We lost.
Antoine Jameson went on that team and went to the finals.
No, we lost to Orlando that year, right?
No, Antoine Jameson wasn't on that team either. He was Antoine Jameson was on the team.
Who did we lose to?
Antoine Jameson on the team that lost to Boston in the second round.
Yeah, and Boston went to the finals. And did they beat?
But they also went and traded. They added Shaq, even though he was a little older, but they added Shaq. At one point they added They added Ben Wallace.
We tried.
So it wasn't for a lack of effort.
No.
It just didn't pan out.
No, it didn't. It didn't pan out. And then eventually he was like, I want to go somewhere. Because I think about it. Shaq is at the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
Ben Wallace at the tail end of his career. Maybe I give you Antoine Jameson.
Jameson was hooping.
I give you Antoine. But 3 out of the 1 out of the 3 or 2 out of the 3, they at the end, bro. We ain't winning. I'm like Kobe. We ain't trying to win. I'm giving me old Shaq. Hey, I love Shaq, but Shaq ain't Shaq. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Ben
but no,
Wallace
but
ain't
the
Ben
biggest
Wallace.
thing, but the biggest thing that comes from this is the whole ring culture conversation.
So yeah, let's talk about that.
So the whole ring, see, the problem that is with ring culture and LeBron saying it is the fact that him, allowed himself to play into the narrative when he started chasing rings.
Right.
You can't go chase rings and then talk about
Yes, you can.
rings shouldn't define
I'm gonna let you
everything.
finish though, because I
You
got
feel
something
me?
for that. Yeah.
Because it's like if when LeBron, when the young LeBron James was growing up watching basketball,
Yeah.
and his favorite player, his basketball
Michael
idol
Jordan.
is Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And when he's watching that, the thing that Michael Jordan is doing is winning championships.
Yeah.
That's what Michael Jordan was doing. Because LeBron was born in 84, if I'm not mistaken. He was born in 84, which was Jordan's first year.
Yeah.
So those first 7, 8, 9 years,
He
just
didn't
like
see it.
us, we didn't really understand what was going on.
Right.
As LeBron got older and he watched Jordan from 90 to 98,
Right.
it's like, oh, championships is what define greatness. So when I get to the league, I know that in order for my greatness to be exemplified, I got to go win multiple rings. Why? Because in the 80s, Magic had multiple rings, 5 to be exact. Bird had multiple rings, 3. Isaiah went and won 2. Jordan switched the paradigm and messed around and won 6. And then you get Olajuwon in there with 2. Okay, so Jordan leaves. So who's next up? Kobe and Shaq mess around and go win 3. So now it's being amped up. In the midst of Kobe and Shaq winning 3, who else didn't win multiple championships? Tim Duncan didn't run multiple championships, 3 and 4 and all that kind of thing. So it start becoming, when you become that guy and you want to define a legacy, winning a ring is not enough, because winning a ring, nobody really talks about Hakeem, and he got 2, because it's like, well, you won 2 when Jordan wasn't there. Like, so do those rings really count?
Yeah.
People,
you can't blame me for somebody
no,
else retiring.
but I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like,
That's stupid.
you know how people look at Hakeem like, yeah, you got 2, but Jordan wasn't there. So it's like LeBron understood, I gotta go get rings, because winning 1 wouldn't be enough.
Right.
Because they see you in that same light of greatness
Right.
as a Michael Jordan,
Right.
as a Kobe Bryant,
Right.
as a Magic Johnson, as a Kareem. Not everybody gets put on that pedestal.
100%.
Not everybody gets put on that pedestal, and that's just what it is.
Here's the thing with the ring culture, and it's one of the things that we see. It's like the quarterbacks in the NFL. They get all the glory. When they win, it's always the quarterback. The quarterback this, unless you're the Baltimore Ravens in 2000, what is that, 2002, when the defense beat the crap out of the New York Giants?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2002. Unless you
Well, no, wait. You said, hold up.
Baltimore
Say it
Ravens.
again.
Baltimore Ravens, right?
Oh, yeah, that was 2002. They deserve to be there because they cheated us, but that's another conversation.
Whatever the case may be. And so, as a young man coming into the league, right, all you want to do, one of the biggest things, I want to be accepted. I already got this expectation, right? They have created this mantle that the only way to be great is to win rings, right? And that's the narrative that we created. If you're not winning rings, you could be good, you could be a solid player, but you ain't gonna be a great player. You can't be considered great because you're not winning rings. So as a young man, if you pour that into my head growing up and I'm in a league, that's what I'm chasing. I'm chasing the ring.
And that's a culture, though.
That's the culture, right? I'm chasing the culture, right? But as you get older, right? Once you get to a certain age, you're like, bruh, all these accolades I've done, everything I've accomplished, everything I've lived up to, everything I was able to do in this league, I'm still not getting the respect that I deserve because I don't have 6. Because when you think about it, it's always something. It's always something when it comes to LeBron winning championships. Oh, you only won 1 because you went to Miami. Only way you won. But when everybody else goes to different places to try to win a ring, it's no issue. But I always, me and my boy Mechanic say this, LeBron is one of the most scrutinized and, like, dudes, and it's not because I'm a stan, it's the truth. We don't argue about nobody else but what LeBron does. And some of it could be something he do to himself, and then some of it is just the nature of the beast. We don't want nobody to take the Michael Jordan mantle. And it's okay at the end of the day.
But I think, babe, people do like.
I don't think they do. I don't think they do.
I see.
I don't think they do.
I think people do because it's talked about. I think people do want to see somebody really chip
No, you
and
don't.
clip.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Think about
But
it. Kobe was the closest thing to Mike, and they didn't give Kobe no love until he died.
Well, yeah,
Kobe
I mean,
wasn't getting Kobe wasn't even a lot of people top 10s until he died.
Listen, that's because all those people who
No,
didn't
but
have
but I'm
Kobe,
just what I'm saying.
yeah,
Like,
I know, but
you
that's
got
all
a
those
dude
people.
that was the closest thing to the greatest quote unquote of all time.
But here's why. But you know why?
Why?
Here's why. Because everybody can just sit there and visualize how dominant Shaq was in the finals. So every
Kobe
time
was right there though.
But that's people who watch basketball, me included. When you watch basketball as a pure Laker fan, not people who just like Shaq, not people who was just watching basketball, as a pure Laker fan,
right?
You couldn't tell me that without Kobe, Shaq was gonna go win them goddamn rings.
They
Shaq
complimented each other.
Exactly. And so the whole narrative that Kobe was this side chick, this sidekick, that he couldn't do it. So then when Shaq leaves and Kobe legitimately wins one by himself,
he go back to back.
He went to 3 straight finals and won back to back.
Yeah.
You feel me? By himself and carried I mean, when you look at those rosters, those are mediocre rosters. There are rosters now to this day that are better than them Laker rosters.
Well, stat wise, but again, I keep trying to tell y'all keep thinking of the names. Like
these
players gotta complement each other. Like
I know, but
it's
I'm
not
saying
just you get these popular names and you like that roster stacked. Yeah, it's stacked, but that don't mean they play well. You had Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and you had think about it.
See, but the rest of that roster was not good though.
Hold on, before you had what's the dude name? What's the big on the team? Nurkic, and then you had but before that he was doing decent though. But what I'm saying is you put those 3 names and you think, oh, these boys gonna be cooking. The Phoenix Suns gonna be cooking, and they didn't cook.
Yeah, but because the full roster construction wasn't good.
It's
still a full roster construction.
When you have 3 mega superstars, you're not gonna have a full roster. You're gonna have some players, complementary players,
and that's where they went wrong at.
And that's what
that's why KD to Houston right now, and we're gonna talk about that next time around. That's why KD Houston right now is perfect.
But
because the roster construction is perfect.
You said a point that I want to touch on because Mike Jordan, right? He never won a ring without Scottie.
He didn't.
He didn't win a ring without Scottie.
Remember, but hold up.
Hold on.
Okay.
When Kobe won his 3 with Shaq, right?
Yeah.
They was not giving him no love. And then to go to 3 straight more finals. Think about this. He went to 3 straight and lost 1 and won 2. And he still wasn't even in the top 10 of a lot of people categories because they didn't want him to even come close. They used to say, oh, all he is a Jordan replica.
Carbon copy.
He's a carbon copy of Jordan. He would never be Jordan. And they kept trying to put this man down when he was the closest thing to the greatest thing that we all compare to. He was the closest to it. And they didn't even get his flowers until the man died. I'm keeping it a stack. I ain't gonna lie for nobody. I'm gonna tell the truth. Nobody had Kobe in the top 10 or the top 5 or the top 7 unless you was a Kobe fan or a Laker fan or you like Kobe.
You played in the league.
Or you played in the league.
Because when you talk to the people that played in the league, those people, the Matt Barnes, the Gilbert Arenas, the people who had to guard and deal with Kobe,
100%.
It was like, oh yeah, y'all stupid for never not having Kobe in your top 5.
100%.
But like I said, but it's happening, but it's continuously happening now. Right. Because T-Mac just made that comment. Well, you take me off of, you give me Shaq, do you think I not win a ring?
I don't know.
And to me, T-Mac, yeah, I think you get one. I don't think you get three.
Right. I don't know if
You
you
feel
get
me?
three because the
I don't
thing
think you get three.
people
I
don't
don't think
realize, and this is
if
what
you hold on, babe.
oh yeah.
I don't because he gonna say, "Well, I never had the opportunity." You put a healthy T-Mac with that Laker team with Pau Gasol. Do you think those Laker teams go to 3 straight finals?
We don't know.
We don't know.
I
But
don't
I'm
I
gonna
don't
give
do
you
the speculation and say that this is what I tell people because even when the Lakers won those rings, everything had to fall in line. Because Shaq and Kobe gonna give you 60. They were still scoring 90, 100 points. So the other players was doing their job. Like the role players did their job. There were
yeah,
so many moments that
that we're
Derek
not
Fisher
that
had,
were yeah,
Robert
Derek
Horry
Fisher,
had, Rick
Robert
Fox
Horry.
had. Like
Yeah,
people who Meta World Peace, Lamar Odom, like people that you don't see
Trevor Ariza.
like these are people who had monumental moments. Ray
Of
Allen,
course.
the jump shot for LeBron. We never talk about those other people because we always so focused on the guy, and I get that. But to win a championship is bigger than just the individual. And I think what we do with Mike, and I get it because his aura, what he did, how he did it, right? It was Mike. But Mike had great complementary players, man, that
Yeah, I
did
mean,
their
Steve
job.
Kerr won a game in the finals
That's what I'm saying.
off of
They,
Mike's pass.
they
John Paxton won a game in the finals off of Mike pass.
imagine if they don't hit those shots.
What's a different conversation?
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, when we think of the ring culture, I get it. The ultimate goal from the world is to win championships. And I think
That's
for
the
LeBron,
only.
I think LeBron, I think it's a little bit of this. I think LeBron feels like nigga, it's never gonna be enough.
But here's the thing, though, Bake. There's two things. A, everybody makes it. Somebody had just said it. Ryan Clark said it. Yeah. Everybody says LeBron is the greatest because the compound of stats that he has that is so superior than everybody else. He got more points than everybody else. He's top 3 in his, he's like top 5 in assists. He like top 5 in rebounds. He has all the accumulated stats that say great, 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 great. But then the one stat, and it's not because and people say, well,
Let's
should
talk
you
about it.
people should be including Bill Russell and his rings. But when you look at the 60s and how he was
You
winning,
can't do that. If we doing rings, we doing rings now.
yeah, but it was
If
only
we
11
doing
teams
rings,
in
we doing rings. See what I'm
but
saying?
it
It's
was only
only we fixed this culture for specific people.
well, it was only 11 teams in the damn league, though.
You can't fault him. He still won 11 times.
I'm not faulting him. But what happened? What happened to the Boston Celtics in the 70s once the ABA emerged when the merger happened? Boston didn't win another ring. Didn't and Bill Russell was on a couple of those teams before he retired.
Yeah, he was
They
older.
didn't win another ring.
He was older. He played 11
I
years.
understand. I understand.
That's 11 years, dog.
But hold up. Bill Russell had Bob Cousy, John Havlicek.
Yeah.
Bill Russell had every Hall of Famer that you can possibly think of in the 60s on his team.
And he won 11. Right?
But
I'm going to let you finish because I'm going to talk about this point, but I'm going to let you finish.
But the thing is with LeBron, is to me, and you be trying to like make it make sense, but it don't make it only makes one sense. After he beat the Cleveland, after he beat the Warriors, he went on his podcast and said, winning that ring made me the greatest of all time. To who? Because you winning that yeah. Okay, but again, so then when you self-proclaim that winning that particular championship is what makes you the greatest, then people can sit there and ridicule you and say, well, how are you the greatest when that's only ring number 3?
Hold on. But see, here's the thing, though. And we talk about, do all rings have the same weight then? Because you beat, hold on.
That ring to me makes you the greatest Clevelander of all time because you did something that was not done in Cleveland history. So does it make you great for the city of Cleveland, for the franchise of Cleveland? Yeah, but to say the greatest of all time with no other context,
he said,
now you open yourself up.
No, but see, and we always talk about the context. He gave you the context. He said beating the greatest team in history, coming back from a 3-1 deficit, and winning a ring for a city that ain't got a ring. That made me feel like I was the greatest of all time. winning that
What you-
championship made me feel like I'm the greatest of all time because I did something that no player in the world has ever did. I did a feat that nobody's ever did, and I
But-
think even here's the thing, and this is what I'm gonna leave it on this. I think when you do something and you like, man, F this nigga, yeah, I'm that nigga, man. Ain't nobody gonna give me my credit because they're gonna say I did this, they're gonna say I did. It's gonna be something with an asterisk. But I felt that moment was so big, was so monumental. I felt right then and there, I was greatest of all time. But if you look at now, you go to the Ryan Clark thing. If we looking at stats, if a man got every statistical category, and we always say, well, you only play because he only got to play 20. No, there's a lot of people that play 20 years in the league and ain't got the numbers this man got. But if you looking at all stats, and this dude got every statistical category better than Yogo, and the only category you winning in is in the team element, is championships, because that's not individual. That is a team. You need a team to win a championship. No one man will ever beat a 5 team. I don't care who you want to call it. No man will ever do it.
Dirk kind of did it by himself.
No. He had his teammates play. Tyson Chandler was a big help. Tyson
Yeah,
Chandler.
we do it, but I'm looking at just Dirk as the individual entity.
But again, J Kidd was a help. You had Jason Terry was a help. You had people did their job. And then Tyson Chandler was the reason why they was able to play the box, because he was protecting the paint. At that time, TC was one of the biggest dominant men in the game.
Bake, my thing with LeBron, and we can kind of end on this, is what everybody separates Jordan from is when he got to the finals, he showed you why he's Michael Jordan. And there was never a finals where you watched it that he played in and you was like, damn, man, Jordan didn't show up. Damn, man, the Bulls almost lost that one. They never went to game 7. They never went to game 7. I can't even remember, if I'm looking at the series, where they really trailed in a series, if I'm not mistaken.
That was the favorite in every championship finals.
They wasn't a favorite. They
Yes,
wasn't.
They was favorite in every championship finals.
But what I'm saying, but even in that, what I'm saying is it's when you get there, what do you do? Because I don't want to hear, because like we can't have two separate arguments. When you get to the finals, that means you are the best on your conference versus the best on this conference. You are the 2 best teams in the NBA.
Okay.
And the 2 best teams in the NBA are here to fight for that one championship.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, LeBron went to, he did his thing and he went to 8 straight.
Okay. Let's talk about the 80 loss, though. He lost to a good-ass San Antonio Spurs team. They went back to back. They played back to back in the championship. Like the parity, and this is what people don't want to accept.
The Spurs never played back to back.
They always did. When they played them, they won and then they lost.
Bank. The Spurs have never went to back to back. The Spurs have never won back to back championships.
No, they didn't go back to back. I'm saying they played back to back. They won the first year and then they played them again and they lost.
You talking about the Miami team?
Miami. Yeah, Miami played them, won. Because remember, Ray Allen shot is the reason why they went to Game 7, right? And then
they played them next year and they got
ran the F off the court. They did. It was a wrap. D Wade wasn't himself. He even said it in a lot of areas. My knees was going out, and it was about that time when he started to reevaluate his career. It wasn't working. But
you can't get ran off the court though.
No. I know he did. Here's my thing though. Like, the teams that he played against, is like he wasn't the favorite. Every except one, LeBron has been the favorite in one championship that he lost. And all the other ones, he's won. The other ones, he was not the favorite. When he played against Golden State, he was not the favorite. When he played against them again, he wasn't the favorite. And so it was what I'm trying to get you to see, and I don't care who you establish as a GOAT, but if we looking at stat-wise, if we looking at the totality, because when I look at the greatest of all time, I'm looking at the totality of an individual. I'm not looking at just one stat and saying, just because you won 6, you the greatest of all time. No, I'm looking at your stature of body of work, because that's what we look at when we measure the greatest. It's not just one category that makes you the greatest. It's your stature, body of work. And if you look at that, my GOAT can measure up with any GOAT you put at that table. If you want to
Yeah,
get the rings,
and it,
you got the rings. But everything else, I'm beating your ass in. So
see, but this is where I don't.
but I'm gonna say this, and we can wrap. Is that the crazy part about it is that we debate this, which is fine, but the
Yeah.
fact that we try to find asterisks, well, LeBron didn't never show up in none of the final. LeBron didn't show up in one final. If you look at LeBron's stats in every single final, the
Yeah, he's
dude did.
always put up. He's always well. He didn't show up in the first finals really either.
What
And
you
that's
want to do
in the first one
against the
ever.
Spurs?
Yeah,
He
I'm
couldn't
just
do
call it
nothing,
what it
bro.
is.
He was
Call
a
it what
young.
it is.
He was a young cat. Now,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. Jordan was undefeated in the finals. It's an immaculate thing to do. I'm not, and I never would.
And that's
I
what,
would,
and
I
I'm
would
telling
never
you,
take
to
nothing
me,
away from him.
that's what makes that his argument different. Because yeah, Bill Russell won 11, but Bill Russell got some losses in there too. You feel me?
But I think he
No,
went 11 straight though.
he didn't win 11 straight.
How many straight did he
I
win?
just posted the graphic.
How many 11 in finals did he win straight though? I
Hold
know
on,
he won.
I literally just posted the graphic. He won
What?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight. Won 8 straight. He won 8.
Yeah, and we don't even talk about
But
this
he ended
man
up
because it was 11-10. You can't fake. Look, Jordan.
no, but what I'm saying is this is why like this conversation to me as I've gotten older, I don't really have no more because I don't really like debating because I feel like everybody has to downplay one guy to uplift the next.
But it's only downplaying everybody else who's not Michael Jordan. They did it to Kobe.
Yeah,
They
but
did it to
but
Bron.
even when you get into LeBron and Kobe, it's you got to downplay LeBron to talk up Kobe, or you got to downplay Kobe to talk up LeBron. How I look at greatness, and I don't even look at greatness because it's with all that. I look at greatness as a basketball player, as a when we just talking basketball. I roll the ball out, and I give it to a person. To me, there is nobody to ever touch the basketball that is a better basketball player than Kobe Bean Bryant. Because he was as close to flawless as you can get. If you needed somebody to hit a three, he can do that. If you needed somebody for a mid-range, he can do that. If you needed somebody to come off a screen, he can do that. If you needed ISO work, he can do that. He can ISO work from the top, from the elbow, from the post. It didn't matter what you needed. On top of that, he was a 12-time all-defensive team guy. So that means when it was time to go lock up the next guy that's at his position, he was willing to go do that too. And then you couple in that he won rings is where I get and move Kobe into that spectrum of what I deem as my greatness. But I don't have to sit there and down talk Jordan because I'm looking at what Kobe Bean Bryant brought to the game and what he did. Not what Michael Jordan couldn't do, not what LeBron can't do. Or I look at it like they don't have exactly what I feel Kobe. I don't feel like Michael Jordan was a flawless basketball player, as most people see it. I don't. And we know LeBron's not a quote-unquote flawless basketball player, whatever the case is. So that's how I determine my GOAT or quote-unquote my preference on who I'm going to put at the top because I feel like there's nobody greater when you dribble the ball out who's going to pick it up and do what they need to do at a premium level that can't be touched. Yeah. And that's just me.
I feel like for me, and I always say this when it comes to the debate, I don't give a damn who you got as your preference at the end of the day. I don't care. But what blows my bubbles is that it's always when people choose LeBron, it's something behind it. It's always an issue for choosing somebody who ain't Mike or even Kobe or whatever the case may be. To see LeBron to be 20 years and continue to grow and evolve his game, and we can call it what we want to call it. The game is evolving. There's a lot of people that
he's
are
played
really
in every era.
He's played 15, 20 plus years, and he's been at the forefront. Like 40 is 40 at the end of the day. I don't care what you call it. I'm feeling it when I'm out there practicing with the kids. Like so to see it is a beautiful thing to see, and I'm not gonna take what I'm watching for granted. I don't know whoever going to be able to go for 40 years and be able to be at the forefront and be considered the top 5 player damn near every year for 40 straight years or whatever the
No,
case may
and
become.
and I think the problem is what I just did when I talked about Kobe. Did you hear me mention Jordan?
No,
Did you hear me mention LeBron?
no.
So that become the issue, whether it's a Jordan or whether it's a LeBron or even Kobe fans. The other person has to get brought up into the argument to validate the argument. So then that's where it gets into what you don't like is now people gonna find something. If people were just talk about LeBron and his greatness and don't bring up other people, then there's no reason to argue with the next person because it's like, bro, I didn't even bring him up. So why are you bringing him up?
But that's the thing. Like,
And that to me is that's the whole issue with this conversation.
yeah.
Is if I don't bring, like I said, you didn't have to bring up LeBron or Jordan because I didn't bring them up. So there was you didn't have to come back at me with like, well, LeBron is this or Jordan is that. I never mentioned them. I just said what Kobe Bean Bryant was. If LeBron fans, if Jordan fans, if Kobe fans will focus on that individual,
Yeah.
and just talk about that individual and why they feel just that individual is it. And then when other people start trying to bring in other people, be like, that ain't what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We're probably the conversation to shift. I tell people all the time, your top 3 should be Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan. Whatever order you want to put that in,
Yeah.
is your preference. But I don't think you should have a top 3 that is not those 3 in whatever order you want to do it. And then the rest of the NBA can fall in line.
Yeah. But anyway, I just feel like we always do that for basketball. You don't really hear a lot of this in football. You really don't.
Well, because it's in football, certain people separate themselves from certain things. Like Tom Brady just separated himself. You can't, like Peyton Manning was a good quarterback, but people can say, well, he had Belichick. Peyton Manning had Tony Dungy, who's regarded as one of the greatest
100%.
coaches of all time. And Tony Dungy just wasn't a better coach than Bill Belichick. Don't be mad at Bill Belichick for being a better coach because all those teams were equally. The Patriots ain't got dumb Hall of Famers on those teams. How many Hall of Famers how many Hall of Famers from those Patriot dynasties is it? How many people in the Hall of Fame from the Patriots team?
Not that much.
It ain't that many.
They got a lot of they got a lot of players
they
that
had
play
a
their
lot.
role very, very well.
And the Patriots, I mean, and the Colts had a lot of good players too.
Yeah.
It's just the Patriots players were better. So
100%.
I can't knock Tom Brady for being on a good team because the great team that he had lost, babe.
Yeah.
The greatest team that he technically
They
had.
lost to the Giants twice. Whatever the Giants
You
doing,
feel me?
and the Eagles, whatever the Giants doing and the Eagles
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about his greatest team. That team
No,
that
I'm
was
no, I'm just saying like
his
whatever they
greatest
did,
team
yeah, they
didn't
lost.
even win. It was all the other teams that wasn't even that good.
And that
When
was
he
a
lost to the
historic ass game because they was winning in.
yeah,
And then
but
that
when he
catch.
lost to the Rams, when he won his first Super Bowl against the Rams, they was an underdog.
Yeah,
They wasn't the greatest show on turf was supposed to run them boys up out of town.
but that defense went crazy.
They went crazy for a game, and then you start saying like, okay, well, Bill Belichick can kind of do some stuff, and so that's why I feel like in football don't really get talked about. Don't nobody really talk about greatness in baseball because arguably some of the greatest players never really won. Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, Cal Ripken, Derek Jeter. But when you look at Derek Jeter, it's like, and then you get into the steroid thing with baseball. So that's why it don't happen.
But ring culture is really only a little bit, mostly in basketball. It's a little bit in football, but it ain't like that in football.
Because basketball has the names that are like monumental to the sport.
Iconic names.
100%. They have just iconic names.
Right.
Football got iconic names, but you got to be football guy. Like Lawrence Taylor's iconic name. He only won 2 Super Bowls. Right. But you say Lawrence Taylor. Jerry Rice, iconic name. He won 4. Yeah. Deion Sanders. But Deion only got 2.
Yeah.
He only got 2.
But it's a quarterback thing. I don't think when it comes to football, it's all a quarterback. It's a quarterback and coaches. It's a quarterback and coach. All the other players, you can have 6 or 7. They ain't talking about you.
Charles Haley got 5 rings.
And you don't talk about
Charles Haley. Even talk about Charles Haley.
You talking about Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, and all the other stuff. At the end of the day, like I think, like I said, I'll say this. I think again, he bought into the culture because that's what it was. But as you get older, you start to realize, man, like, yeah, that's
I
cool.
just
Winning chips is cool. And I get it.
yeah.
Maybe it can be like, I ain't gonna win 6. You know what I'm saying? So I still want my flowers. And I respect that. Because if even if I don't win 6, don't
Or
make it seem like I didn't have an
or Bake
immaculate career.
or Bake. Why not say I played into the ring culture.
Right.
Like openly admit that you played into it,
Right.
but now that you're older, you're like, I don't think we should continue we shouldn't continue the next generation to have to live up to that. I think if he says that, it's like, all right, because it's just admitting that you did it. Like you can't sit there and be mad about ring culture when you
Right.
played
When you
into
played
it.
into it. 100%.
That, that,
I don't think it was just more so about LeBron. I think it was more so trying to give other people flowers like a Steve Nash, like a Allen
yeah, but
Iverson.
people don't. But who have you ever heard diminish an AI like? Because what AI meant to the NBA is
Right. He changed the culture. But let's be honest though. They don't even talk about him like that.
well
You don't
because
talk about you don't talk about Karl Malone like that. You don't talk about John Stockton like that. We really don't talk about a lot of people that play this game except for specific people that's won a lot of championships. You get what I'm saying? And I get it. I understand. There's different levels. I respect that level thing where it's like, yo, these people are in a different epsilon because they won a lot more. But at the same time, we don't talk about a lot of people. So narratives don't never get talked about. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
either if they only won one or they never won again, it'd be like, they cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, like I
it
said,
is what it is.
it is what it is. I think it's going to be interesting. We got SGA that got his one out the way, and
Yeah.
we're going to see if he can go win more. And it's just going to be interesting, man. I love where the league is. I like the
It's
fact that
beautiful.
it's so much parity. I like the
7
fact that
years, 7 new champions, bro.
we can't sit there and just say this team is that. And I feel like we don't need to start talking dynasty until somebody win back to back.
Yeah.
You don't win. You either got to win back to back
Or
or
go to another
two,
one.
2 or 3 years, or you feel me? Even if you do the Spurs thing, because the Spurs never won back to back,
Yeah, they
but
just
they
went.
won 5.
Yeah.
They won 5 between 99 and 2013.
Yeah.
And
I
they was
think
winning every
OKC
other
is the
year.
closest team that can do that right now. Based
Because if
off
they got to stay together and they got
stay
to stay
together
healthy.
and stay healthy, I think
Yeah.
they the closest team that can possibly do that. If they keep the core, that's going to be hard to do. As you're seeing a lot of changes, which we're going to talk about moving forward. We talked about a lot of stuff, but it was good stuff, good debates. And again, I want people to understand, man, I will never be a Jordan hater. I'll never be a Kobe hater. You know what I'm saying? I like LeBron because I enjoy LeBron. I love what he do, man. It's a beautiful thing to see what he doing. And I'm not just to stand and just be like, because you will hear me talk when he on that bush. Because I don't just be like, oh, Brian, nah. I'll be like, Brian, you on that bush. You better get your together. Like, I'm one of those. Like, I'm not just going, I don't meet ride nobody. That's just never been my character. But I look at the body of work of anybody and I be like, hey, man, I like him. I just get tired when people be getting mad at me because I like him and I don't like the other people they chose. Like,
Yeah, man. Well,
and I not even like him. It's just like, I think
that's
LeBron
why
is
I
my
stopped
guy.
having these. That's why I just stopped having these conversations.
Yeah.
I know who I like. I know why I like them.
Yeah.
I know why Kobe to me is untouchable. I
Yeah.
know why. And when you ask me, I'm gonna tell you. But if you got a problem with that or you trying to counter argue that, that's between you and God.
Yeah.
I don't need to counter argue. I know what it is. And you not and the thing is you're not about to talk me off my ledge, no matter how many stats, numbers, and all that you try to throw at me. I'm not moving. So
And
you might as well leave me
that's
alone.
the point that gets annoying. I just be like, man, I don't even talk about it no more. I be like, hey man, whatever y'all want, whatever y'all like, cool, go eat. What you eat don't make me doo-doo. So I'm good at the end of the day. But good topics, good debates. We got a lot to talk about next time on the show. We're gonna talk about the trades. We're gonna talk about NBA draft. And we also gonna talk about some WWE because a lot of stuff been going on as we get closer
I hope
to
I
King
hope
of the Ring and Night of Champions.
United Champ. Well, that's this Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday.
Are they gonna be able to go across seas with Saudi Arabia?
I don't know.
I heard that
I don't know. I haven't
yeah,
heard
I
no
don't know.
changes right now, but
Yeah,
they may or may not go.
that'd be crazy. They gotta cancel a whole PLE.
May not cancel. May like just relocate to safety.
Yeah, but how you gotta try to resell tickets. You're gonna have to just
I
cancel
think they
that and
going.
figure it out.
I think they're going.
which is crazy to even think about.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
there's a
they're going.
whole war going on in Israel and Iran, and y'all about to go to Saudi
Well,
Arabia
they
for
about
some
to have.
money?
They have a ceasefire going on right now. So
No, they don't have a ceasefire going on right now.
yeah, they did. They just did.
They know it was a ceasefire, and then Israel bombed Iran. What you talking about? But
No. That's what I'm saying. But they did another ceasefire when the president went to NATO. I'm not a Trump fan, but I'm just telling you, like
So
this
this
is when
must happen just in the last few hours or
yeah,
something.
it was when I was going to Bible study. They did like it's
Another
official now.
ceasefire.
Yeah, it's like nah. This one is because they was arguing because President Trump was hey for him to say something like that is wild. I'm just gonna
And
say
he
that
was wilding on
because
the
he
internet.
said you got two countries who don't know what the f they do to say that it's wild. No,
Come
that's that, bro. I ain't never heard
Like,
no
we got
president.
it going on over here. Like, that's the thing, big. Like, he talking like America got it going on over here. Like, we just got everything in order and we doing everything right.
Yo, that was wild though. Hey, that's a real G move. I'm not a Trump fan, but to say some reckless stuff like that, dog, that's like, hey, I don't care what you say. We going at the end of the day. I just want people to be safe, man. I do not want war, but I know it's in biblical. It's a lot of stuff that leads to the end times. We don't know when that happened, but I encourage everybody to get your life right. Make sure you repent, get a relationship with God, so you don't have no fear at the end of the day. You got a relationship, you build your relationship, get to know the
I'm
man
good.
above. You know what
I
I'm saying?
just don't want to go too soon. Like, I'm
Yeah,
good. Like, I'm happy.
yeah.
I'm happy with
We
I
can't.
know I'm good.
Yeah, we
But I'm
can't.
just not ready.
We
I got a
can't.
lot of stuff I'm trying to accomplish,
I
man.
know,
I
but
want to see my kids grow up.
we
I
don't
got
control
stuff.
that. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the
I
things.
know. I just
You know what
I'm
I'm saying?
saying, man, I want to see the kids grow up.
Yeah, but
Man.
next time, man, we'll definitely tap into all the other topics. We had a lot happen, man, but we appreciate all the love and support. And we're gonna work on being. It's just a lot going on. We coaching niggas out of school, but we're gonna get right. We're gonna get right.
Yeah,
No
man.
excuses.
Don't worry.
No excuses.
We're gonna be
We're gonna
right.
get right, especially good football season. Because I'm trying to go. What's that? 5? I'm trying to go
I'm on
5,
a
6.
I'm on a championship run
I'm
with the
trying.
Real Vincent Titans.
I'm,
That's what I'm on.
I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go 6 champions. Is this gonna be my six
It's only gonna
championship?
be 4, man.
It's
Why
gonna be
you always
5.
keep
It's gonna be 5. I already won 4. We did this for 5 years. I only lost 1 year.
okay?
What's the name? 5 years. I'm going on my 5th championship, dog. I'm about to be on some Tom Brady numbers, and then I want to win my first one for Rio Vista this year. So I'm trying to go champion in the picks
We will see.
in champion, and I'm trying to go championship in college football dynasty mode. Your boy Bake trying to run the table. I'm trying to be like SGA, dog. I'm trying to be like SGA, man. But anyway, y'all have an amazing night. Stay blessed, stay encouraged, and always remember to
To do
talk
what?
that talk. See you next time.
Yes, sir.
Peace.